Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And shalom to you sincere, hopeful, like brothers and sisters listening, learning, and to you brothers preaching and teaching the truth through the four corners of the earth. Mr. Brother on the Thun, come out of the GMS Indianapolis camp. Coming back with a quick one through the spirit. Check this out. As the story's been developing with these LA riots, now it's starting to, I guess it started off as a peaceful protest, so now it's turning, very violent, police cars being burnt up, the National Guard's out there now, and, Trump is threatening to bring in the Marines, and I was just reading a little something too, even almost like he was gonna come arrest Gavin Newsom for not, the governor, for not complying with what Trump wants done. So, hey, we're seeing it. We're seeing Esau versus Esau, So I'm gonna get in this article. I'm gonna get some scriptures, and the Lord willing to be edifying. This is from USToday.com. It reads, now things are destabilized. Governor Newsom blames Trump for unruly protests. As the police on Monday were urging businesses and residents to report any vandalism, damage, or looting for documentation after protests against Trump administration policies deteriorated into destructive clashes between officers and protesters. Authorities declared several of the demonstrations Sunday unlawful assemblies, sweeping in with flashbangs and tear gas grenades to disperse hundreds of protesters. Some vehicles were set ablaze. Protesters blocked the 101 freeway, and a group of them converged on an overpass and threw objects down at police, video footage showed. Police in riot gear were joined by hundreds of California National Guard troops ordered into action by President Donald Trump. Governor Gavin Newsom asked Trump to withdraw the guard, and in an overnight social media post, he urged Trump to stop fanning the flames after a third day of protest. Quotes, let's get this straight. 1, local law enforcement didn't need help. 2, Trump sent troops anyway to manufacture chaos and violence. 3, Trump succeeded, Newsom wrote. 4, now things are destabilized and we need to send in more law enforcement just to clean up Trump's mess. Trump in a social media post Sunday night said Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass should apologize to the people of Los Angeles for the absolutely horrible job that they have done. And this now includes the ongoing LA riots. These are not protesters. These are troublemakers and insurrectionists. And see, hey, that's where you're seeing sedition among men, Matter of fact, go ahead and grab that real quick. Go ahead and get it. So the second Ezra 15, verse 14, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe meaning destruction, right? For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And that's what's happening. All right. People are getting ready to turn on each other in a heavy deal. All right. You already got the wars and the rumors of wars, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, that's happening, all right? Now you got the intra-fighting. Now you got your civil war type of arena starting to come together, all right? State versus state, certain states versus the federal government, like California's Gavin Newsom, has had this like constant little beef between him and Trump, hey, and like I said, it can be all smoke and mirrors, the ultimate agenda of the day is a NWO, So it says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, right? Because you see they're throwing Molotov cocktail bombs, and throwing rocks and other objects. It's only a matter of time before they start using lethal force and start mowing down people, all right? And vice versa. The citizens of America going to take up arms against the government. Going to have clashes that way. And don't be surprised if this is George Floyd 2.0, because here it is, June, right? Pride Month in June, right? And you remember last time with the BLM, they hijacked the the Alphabet Mafia, hijacked the BLM, right? The Black Lives Matter movement for George Floyd and all that, and then it became a alphabet community protest thing. They like the protest too, so they're gonna join forces. Like you can see it. So that's possibly a thing. So don't be surprised if we see each major city in America rising up for the same ordeal. That's popping off in L.A. It says, verse 16, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings, nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And that's what you're saying. All right, they're saying forget law enforcement, forget this National Guard, all right, forget the governor, forget the president, forget all these government officials. We, the people, have the power. There's more than us than there is of them. That's the mindset. All right. Verse 17, it says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." All right, because watch this. This is gonna push martial law. Was that Rex? They got the Rex 84 where they're gonna put people in camps and shit. So don't be surprised, man, because Trump's that type of guy, man. They're really letting it go crazy. They've really stirred it up, stirred the pot, which ultimately is Yahweh Shema Shai stirring everything up. So you got to know that the Lord is about to come back. And the Spirit of the Lord is moving throughout the earth right now, man. All right, starting this. This is all Yahweh Shema Shai is making, man. And us of the hopeful elect, we want this to happen. We want people to go crazy. We want people to riot and protest, and cause chaos. All right, because you need these type of events to usher in the ultimate, that MOT to the B. There's going to be a lot that's going to go down with this. And ultimately, this is the start of Jacob's trouble. This is prophecy. All right, this has to happen. All right. Just like the Northern Kingdom went into captivity first, well, guess what? Northern Kingdom's getting hit with this first wave of Jacob's trouble. And then it's going to move on to the Southern Kingdom. And then what? And who shall rise them up? Judah, right? Judah's going to rise up and fight back, So, it's going down. And ultimately, how about Shemel Shah speeding up the times? Okay? That's what's going down. This is verse 18, "For because of their pride the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." And that's what's coming next. All right? So these people are riding over, people getting deported. That's one thing, Wait until, and I was saying this earlier in the months too, other brothers as well, like, hey, the Northern Kingdom, they're not going to just continue to just get, they're going to get pulled up on and then just taken, and letting people just take them, man. People are going to start fighting back when they see their wives getting snatched up to be deported, or their children, their cousins, whatever the case may be. Nobody's just not going to keep going without a fight. All right, and that's what we're starting to see. They ain't going no more for that. All right, but how much more when, guess what? See, because lockdowns and shit like this and destruction, that messes up supply chains as well. Can't get food in because they're blocking highways, so... how much more will they protest when there's a lack of food out here, all right, and water to take care of themselves, all right? It's going to get crazy out here, So, man, this thing is turning up. So, and it's just, and the momentum's gaining. So, like I said, don't be surprised if we don't see every major city start going through this, just like the George Floyd riots. We'll go back to the article. It says, protesters flee tear gas grenades. At 8 p.m. local time, authorities declared the protest to be unlawful assembly and moved in aggressively with flashbangs and tear gas grenades that sent hundreds of people running, their eyes streaming with tears. Helicopters clattered overhead as protesters fled the area to honking of car horns and periodic cheers. According to preliminary information, police said at least 10 people have been arrested and 3 officers were injured during protests on Sunday. California Highway Patrol arrested 17 people on the 101 freeway, police said. On Saturday, police arrested 29 people. Recent ICE sweeps sparked protests in Los Angeles. This is, the protests were prompted by immigration and customs enforcement agents, which is ICE, sweeps in the area last week. Those arrested by ICE included a Vietnamese man convicted of second-degree murder, an Ecuadorian man convicted of possession of 5 kilograms of cocaine, and a Filipino man convicted of sexual offenses, said Tricia McLaughlin, an assistant secretary of the department. Quotes, these rioters in Los Angeles are fighting to keep rapists, murderers, and other violent criminals loose on Los Angeles streets, McLaughlin said in a statement. Instead of rioting, it should be thanking ICE officers every single day who wake up and make our communities safer. 60 arrested after San Francisco protests. Protests against immigration enforcement police policies were not limited to the Los Angeles area. In San Francisco, a demonstration that drew hundreds ended with violence and about 60 arrests, police said. In quotes, individuals in the group became violent and began to commit crimes ranging from assault to felony vandalism and causing property damage. San Francisco police said in a statement, an unlawful assembly was declared and many left the scene while others vandalized buildings and police cars. 2 officers suffered non-life-threatening injuries. And you got to remember, too, just like the George Floyd riots, you had people traveling from different states and paying people, and you know, they were setting up pallets of bricks everywhere with no real construction jobs in the way, right? You know, setting the stage for things. You know, people getting paid off. There's so many clips and videos of the setup, you know, because, you know, especially Esau, they'd be like, they're destroying their own communities. Well, no, you got fucking people coming in that are Edomites, you know, or other agents, you know, agent provocateurs that come in under the guise of peaceful protesting, and they start destroying shit, you know, and turning it violent, you know, because ultimately, what this is just a setup to accuse you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. I can remember this devil's about to come down, having great wrath, seeing that he has a short time. All right, so Esau's about to roll. The so-called white man is getting ready to roll, and guess what? He's gonna have the backing of these American people, these patriots. All right, yeah, get them. They're no good. All they do is commit crime. They're rapists. They're murderers. They're thieves. And get them out of our country. So you can see how the persecution is going to come down, and it's going to be easy for the American people to get behind that. You know, because all they're going to see is the negative. They're not going to see the agents. They don't have the eye salve to see what's really going on. Right? This is all an agenda. The quote says, individuals are always free to exercise their First Amendment rights in San Francisco, but violence, especially against the SFPD officers, will never be tolerated, statement said. Los Angeles protesters set fire to Waymo's self-driving vehicles. Photos and videos show several Waymo self-driving cars being torched during the protest. The LAPD said one street had been closed indefinitely after multiple autonomous vehicles had been set on fire. Footage shared on social media captures several of Waymo driverless taxis engulfed in flames in June 8th protests. Others were vandalized with messages against Trump and immigration and customs enforcement. Videos show. Waymo suspended service in downtown LA and will not be serving any rides in the protest area until it deems safe, a company spokesperson told. So yeah, it's going down. You know, like I said, this is the time, you know, us as the hopeful elect, hey, we're hastening these type of times because like the scriptures say, hey, through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom of heaven. All right, so you already have your mind set and ready that, hey, all hell's gonna break loose out here. So go ahead and keep it in your mind and keep it fresh on you, like, hey, that at any moment, this so-called way of life that we're living, you know, is gonna end abruptly. Okay. You kind of got a taste of it like during the C-19, how it's like 1 week everybody's out frolicking up and down the streets to ghost town and tumbleweeds blowing through the streets. People being locked down, you know. So, hey, we're coming into them times, man, where we're going to enter into a police style state, you know, martial law. So don't be surprised. Get your mind right. Get your mind ready. This 2 Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And how you do that? You measure it with the scriptures, with the prophecies of Yahweh Shemel contained in the Bible. Okay? That's how we know where we're at on the timeline. All right? We know we're not in the new covenant. You know? Hey, we know we're not reached salvation yet. Right? We know we ain't got these new bodies. All right? So, you know, it ain't that time yet. All right, but it's soon approaching. Because what Matthew 24 talks about for the elect, he's like, he has shortened the days for the elect's sake. All right. So that's why time is flying, you know. You do a couple tasks during the day, and then it's the end of the day. You're like, damn, where'd the time go? Well, the Lord's speeding things up. Here it is. We're already halfway through the year, you know. It says, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, see, because Yahweh Shemel, Isaiah 46 and verse 10 on down, says about what he declared the end from the beginning. All right, so we got the playbook. We got the understanding of the times we're in. We just don't have a specific date. Neither does Yahweh Shai, the Son. Which that's fine, you know, because Yahweh Shemel is looking for faith. If we all had a calendar date with the timestamp on when he was coming back, and everybody would get it right at the last second, be trying to repent and come back, you know, do all their wickedness until the last 5 minutes, you know. So you got to show forth your faith now. You got to believe and put the ways of this world off, man. We're not going to go downtown and fucking protest for Jake going off. All right, you know what? This is what the Northern Kingdom gets, man. You wanted to believe in Jesus Christo, Jesus Christ. You wanted to believe in the so-called white man, and a lot of you Northern Kingdom wanted to bind yourself to Esau, Edom, so-called white man, because you felt like I'm closer to them. I'm lighter in the skin, you know. Not, you know, they range in different colors, of course, but they want to be closer to who they deem God, right? But see, the God of this world has blinded the mind of these people, man, which is the so-called white man, all right? He even put himself as the image of the Lord. And these fucking people believe that. That's why they're getting what they get. And a lot of the Northern Kingdom are you know, they go against Judah. All right, Judah's the head tribe. You don't have to deal with that. All right? So that's why they're getting their ass jacked the hell up. You know, because they proudful as hell. All right? And that's why ultimate, man, is about the elect. Because the pride of our people are going to get fucking destroyed, man. And rightfully so, man. Like the scriptures say, hey, it's a poor man that's proud. Here it is. We're at the bottom of all societies. All right? And Jake want to be proud. Nah, man. Verse 2. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Yep, see? And how? Because we're understanding, because we're following the scriptures. We're like, damn. He's like, he was like, damn, how should I this say earthquakes in diverse places? He said there's going to be pestilence. He said there's going to be uproars of the people. There's going to be commotions. right? Which is rebellions. All right, that's happening. It does say nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. All right, we're living in them times. It's happening right before our eyes. Verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. All right, because what is it saying? Isaiah 46. Whoops. What am I thinking of? 49. Hold on, bear with me here. Oh, I think, yeah. Let's go. Because Isaiah 42:9, it says, behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. See? So he's already told us what's going to happen. So, it's not a surprise to us. Mind you, we're in the spirit of hastening the coming of our Lord, Yahweh Shai. All right? We're in that spirit. All right, so that's why we're measuring the times diligently, because we can't wait for his return. All right? We know we needed salvation yesterday. We want the Lord coming back that quick. Because we know we need saved. All right? We're not going to trust in our sword, We won't trust in our bow. We're going to trust in Yahweh Shemel Shai. That's who's got us. Okay? And see, the Lord's a fair power, man. Like I said, he already laid it out what was going to happen. So it shouldn't be a surprise. That's why, see, 2/3 of you niggas, Latinos, and Native Americans, guess what? You're going to be caught like a thief in the night because you refuse to listen. You pull back the shoulder. You wanted to do your thing. Well, guess what? You can do bad all by yourself and get your ass fucking destroyed, man. How about that? All right. Back to 2 Ezra 9, verse 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. See? And that's what's happening, man. We're seeing the end times, man. These people ain't happy now. Because what we see, matter of fact, let's get this. This is a big deal right here. This is Isaiah 19 and verse 2. And it says, I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And we know the modern day Egyptians are who? Esau, Edom, so-called white men. They're in the power seat, all right? Just like the Egyptians were in the rulership at one point. The Babylonians, were at one point. All right, just like you had, Greece, Rome, which that's Edomites anyways. All right. Guess what? These Americans, these Edomites, so-called white men, the self-proclaimed white man, they're in the power seat. All right. They're the ones that fit this prophecy. And I'll set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. And that's what you're seeing, right? Well, like Yahweh said, if Satan casts out Satan, how shall his kingdom stand, right? All right, here it is. You're going against each other, your own people against your own people, right? You got California versus the federal government. You got other states, like Texas talking about breaking off from the union. You got all the southern states want to split back up into this whole damn near like the Civil War type times. The North versus the South. Don't be surprised. All right, there's nothing new under the sun. It says, verse 3, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. And that's what's happening. The whole American dream is dead. It's the American nightmare. Everybody's waking up to it. What is that comedian, what's his name? He said, yeah, they call it the American dream because you got to be asleep to believe it. I forgot his name. Anyways, it says, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. Right. See, the counsel, look, here it is. They're trying to do what they think is right, but it's causing chaos. All right. And then to try to stop the chaos, they're causing more chaos. Man, because what? The spirit of Egypt is failing, man. These people are tired. The citizens are, are fighting back. It says, and they shall seek to the idols and to charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards, right? And that's not going to work. All right? They're trying to keep this shit together, but guess what? It's like walking up a sand dune, all right? You take 2 steps forward to take 5 steps back, all right? You're really not doing anything, all right? This thing's going down. This thing's going down the drain. All right. Actually, the pipe, like the spiritual pipe, is bursting, man. Here it is. You're patching up one side, then another leak springs. You're like, okay, cool. I got this fixed. Let me go over here. Boom. And then you're fixing this leak. Then 3 other springs bust out. You're like, oh shit. So you're trying to fix that, and then the ones you just fixed busted loose. Until what? Till the pipe completely bursts and you can't use it at all. So that's what's happening. All right. Here, America, Babylon the Great. Yeah, they're trying to fix it and make it great again, and it ain't gonna happen. Like Scripture say, would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. All right, this place is through, man. And may Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua continue to turn up and destroy this wicked place, man. And with that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Kwame Yashala. Shalom.